What did ancient humans smell like? Tomorrow morning, you'll get out of the shower, put on deodorant, brush your teeth, and walk into the world. A stranger will pass you on the sidewalk. You won't notice their smell. They won't notice yours. You'll walk past each other as if neither of you had a body at all. For 99% of human history, this would have been impossible. Every human who has ever lived before you smelled. Not faintly, not like cologne. They had a scent as specific as a fingerprint. Their tribe could pick them out in the dark. Their mother could find them in a crowd. A lover could tell, just by walking into a tent, exactly who had been there. We have spent the last 100 years erasing this entirely. And in the process, we lost something we didn't even know we had. Let's start with what an ancient human actually smelled like. Imagine standing inside a hunter-gatherer camp 20,000 years ago. The first thing you notice is the smoke. Every body in the camp carries it. Hair, skin, clothing, all of it has absorbed the campfire that has been burning in some form every day of every person's life. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham, who has spent decades studying the role of fire in human evolution, points out that for at least 400,000 years, the smell of wood smoke was part of being human. Not on humans, in them. Underneath the smoke is sweat. Not the sharp, metallic smell modern people associate with bad hygiene. A different kind. The sweat of someone whose diet is meat and tubers and wild plants. No sugar, no processed grains, no alcohol. The sweat of a body that walks 12 miles a day. The compounds it produces are simpler, earthier, less acidic. Then there's the body itself. Skin oils that have never been stripped by soap. Hair that has never been washed with anything but water, and sometimes not even that. A scalp coated in its own natural fats. A scent that doesn't go away, doesn't get scrubbed off, and over time becomes recognizably you. And here's what nobody talks about. That smell wasn't a flaw. It was the most important communication tool your species ever developed. In 1995, evolutionary biologist Klaus Wedekind at the University of Bern ran an experiment that has been replicated dozens of times since. He had men wear plain cotton t-shirts for 2 nights, then asked women to smell the shirts and rate them. The women weren't told anything about the men. They were just asked which shirts they found most attractive. The pattern was striking. The women consistently preferred the smell of men whose MHC genes, the genetic code that builds the immune system, were most different from their own. Without seeing a face, without hearing a voice, the women's bodies were reading the men's DNA through their sweat. And specifically, they were drawn to immune systems that would combine well with their own. Children of MHC-different parents have stronger immunity. Evolution had encoded this preference directly into the nose. For 300,000 years, every mate humans chose was selected partly by smell. Not consciously. The nose did the math before the brain caught up. But it wasn't just mating. Mothers and infants recognize each other by smell within the first days of life. A 1985 study by Dr. Aidan McFarlane at Oxford showed that breastfeeding babies, when offered 2 cloths, will consistently turn their heads toward the one worn by their own mother. They are 6 days old. They cannot see clearly yet. They have never been told what a mother is, but they know hers. And the recognition runs the other direction too. Mothers can identify their own infant, blindfolded, by scent alone, with over 90% accuracy. This wasn't sentimentality. For most of human history, an infant separated from its group would be dead by nightfall. Smell was the safety net. It went further. Anthropologists studying surviving hunter-gatherer societies have documented that members of small tribes can identify each other by scent the way we identify each other by face. The Tucano people of the Amazon are said to be able to name an individual just from the air they leave behind in a hut. The same has been reported among the Andamanese, the Kung, and several Australian Aboriginal groups. For most of human history, your smell was your name, and then it disappeared. In the 1800s, three things happened almost simultaneously. Indoor plumbing arrived in cities. Mass-produced soap dropped in price to something a working family could afford. And advertising, newly invented, began telling people that body odor was a moral failure. The first deodorant, called Mum, was patented in 1888. Listerine, originally a surgical disinfectant, was repurposed in 1920 to treat what an ad campaign invented as a brand new disease, halitosis. Antiperspirant followed. Within a single generation, the human smell that had defined the species for hundreds of thousands of years was washed off, sealed in, perfumed over. And here's the part nobody talks about. We didn't just clean ourselves. We erased a language. In 2015, a study at the Weizmann Institute in Israel found that humans, completely unconsciously, sniff their own hand after shaking hands with a stranger. They do it within seconds. They have no idea they're doing it. The body is still trying to read the other person's scent the way it did for 300,000 years. It just has nothing to read anymore. The researchers tried to stop the participants from doing it. They couldn't. The behavior happens below conscious control. It is older than thought. Other research has found that women on hormonal birth control reverse their MHC preferences entirely. They begin choosing partners whose immune systems are similar to their own, the opposite of what the body would otherwise do. This may help explain why couples report changes in attraction after one partner stops taking the pill. The system is still inside you. It's still running. But for the first time in human history, it has nothing to work with. And there's something else, a genetic detail almost no one knows. A gene called ABCC11 determines whether your sweat produces strong body odor at all. About 95% of East Asian populations carry a variant that produces almost no smell. Most Europeans and Africans carry the opposite variant. Same species, same brain, different scent worlds. For most of human history, you could have walked into a room blindfolded and known not just who was there, but where they came from. The smell of a person carried their ancestry, their diet, their immune system, their tribe. Now imagine the room you walk into tomorrow. You won't smell anyone. They won't smell you. Everyone will be wearing the same 3 or 4 mass-produced fragrances. Your immune system will have nothing to choose with. Your infant memory of your own mother's scent, the only thing your 6-day-old self could recognize, has been overlaid by laundry detergent and coconut shampoo until even she no longer smells like herself. For 300,000 years, your ancestors lived inside an invisible map of scent. They could read the people around them the way you read text on a screen. They knew their tribe. They knew their kin. They knew, without thinking, who was safe and who wasn't. And then, in just a few generations, we walked out of that map entirely. We didn't replace it with anything. We just stopped using it. The smell of an ancient human wouldn't be unpleasant to them. It would be the smell of family, of home, of belonging. The way your mother's perfume might feel to you now, only deeper, older, written into the body itself. We traded all of that for not offending strangers on the bus. Tomorrow when you walk past someone in the street, neither of you will smell anything. Neither of you will know that for almost the entire history of your species, that quiet exchange of air was how you found each other. It still wants to happen. The wiring is still there. It just isn't listening to anything anymore.